welcome to Madame After Midnight. This is a podcast where we talk about life and its many pursuits of sustainable happiness. I'm your host, Madame Donut. Now, I always give you this warning that this podcast can make you hungry or horny or both. And guess what? This afternoon is extra special afternoon delight because I'm already hungry and horny, you know that, right? So, because my guests tonight, I've been watching them cut into their super sexy meat. Okay, before I go further, because I usually babble because I get so excited, I gotta invite them in to talk about Wagyu. Okay, this is the sexiest beef in town and probably in the world. So we'll learn more about it. I'm really excited. So guys, everybody, please welcome my guest tonight, the gentleman from Swagyu, Hawaii. Have a seat. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for
having
joining
us.
Oh my God, I've been so excited. As well, Nick and I have been talking for a while now, and he's been forwarding me all of the pictures and the reels and all these videos of Wagyu that you've been cutting into, and some of the classes I've been sort of kind of following. It's so exciting.
Cool.
So welcome to Hawaii.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So tell us about Swagyu. So Swagyu's been open for a while, right? Tell us a little bit of the
Swagyu
story.
came about in the early pandemic when everything shut down on March 16th. We already had our Wagyu restaurants, and we toured around the world doing that. And of course, for our tasting menu, our 18-course tasting menu, we had all of Europe booked out for like 12 countries in Europe for our 12-course tasting menu in 12 different countries. It was completely sold out. That, of course, the first thing that goes is things like that. No tour, no nothing, lockdown. So just the Wagyu that we had, that we were holding, at just our inventory, which was like 10,000, which is not that much, to be honest, in Wagyu. But still, we want it, if the world's ending, I want my money back, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So one of my buddies was like, "Hey man, you should sell your inventory. You're not doing a dinner for at least 6 months, And this is right when it happened. I said that's a good idea. I'll do some dinner kits like every chef did, during the shutdown. And then I cut up a bunch of steaks and put the prices and posted them on my Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. Long story short, we sold 3 times our inventory in 24 hours.
Wow!
So immediately we switched. I had my web designer switch our website from selling dinner tickets around the world to an online butcher shop. Here are the steaks. Here's the pictures. Here's the price. Do it now. And my wife had to like break down the orders because they were on Venmo, PayPal, Facebook, and Instagram. And people's their PayPal name is not the same as their Instagram name.
Right.
So like it was a lot of hundreds of orders she had to go through and put them on Excel spreadsheets. And then the orders started going through the new system that we built. But that's literally how it all started. And we started doing it just out of our kitchen. And then when dining started to come back and go away and things like that, I was like, all right, I'm going to find a brick and mortar butcher shop. And I was like, I'm going to find the smallest piece of shit, like taco shop, closest possible to my house. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, whatever. But the thing is that people were ordering online for our little kitchen. They're having to come down this ghetto alley to pick up on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And there's Bentleys, Ferraris, because there's no traffic. Yeah. So people are driving from Fresno to San Diego, Vegas, Phoenix, everywhere. They drive like 6-7 hours to come and pick up Wagyu because what else are they going to do? They're all locked at home. Right. So they're driving their nice cars and coming down. So I knew just by my online sales, I knew that I could open a brick and mortar. It'd be no problem at all. So that's why I found this little dumpy place that no one had been in for at least a year, even before pandemic. Went into the liquor store in the same little strip mall, got the phone number of the owner, and then I met him. He didn't actually answer the phone. It was like 3 weeks later, I got a call. Hey, I'm calling this number. Who was interested in a place in IB? And nobody was opening anything in the pandemic. Right. So finally they called me. And I went and saw it, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm returning to Wagyu Beef Butcher Shop. And this guy, this kid is just like that. Actually, I didn't realize at the time, him and his dad own all these properties, right? Like, they have like 800 million in properties, something crazy, right? But he was like, wait, what are you doing? He's like, you really want to do this here? He's like, I don't see it. I'm like, and it was a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, nope, I'm a visual person, so I had it all figured out. Literally opened up real quick, like in like 2 weeks, and then we had just a line down the street.
Wow.
And then we opened a place in Poway 2 months after that. And then 2 months after that, we got a food truck. And then 2 months after that, we opened a big 5,500 square foot flagship burger restaurant and steakhouse. And then also that's where Swagyu Study Hall is, our 18-course tasting menu. And that's one long table, redwood table, like a live edge, that we literally bought a slice of a redwood from Northern California and made it by hand. And that's a separate restaurant. You have to go into the kitchen, and then there's a secret door that goes into this other restaurant, and that's where the tasting menu goes down.
Now you call it study hall?
Yeah, because we educate people. So it starts with the American Wagyus, then goes through the Australian Wagyus, and then the Japanese Wagyus, and we explain every course where there's a little bit of education in the description, because I come out and I describe every course, all 18, but then I also describe while we're in there what an American F1 Wagyu actually is, and what an Australian Wagyu is, and what's a full-blood American, and what's A5, and then what is Kobe beef, because no one actually understands the differences between all of this stuff, and because Kobe is A5 Wagyu, but all the other A5s are not Kobe.
Right.
So there's only 5,000 head a year slaughtered and sanctioned as Kobe, and they have to be born, raised, and slaughtered in the prefecture of Hyogo, Japan. That's one of the many criteria. That's the basic ones, and then the restaurants and the butcher shops and the chefs, they personally have to be certified by Kobe around the world to be able to buy and sell it. And we're one of only 23 in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Kobe is basically, it's almost like champagne, right?
Exactly.
Like,
it's A5 Wagyu that's born, raised, and slaughtered in the terroir or prefecture of Hyogo, just like champagne. Yeah. Sparkling wine if it's not there. Which the rest are just like A5.
Right.
Because that's like A5's the government stamp. Like I have tattooed on my arm. That's literally the stamp that they stamp the carcass when it hits all of the criteria.
I'm waiting for my donut tattoo. I'm kind of semi-covered already on my torso, on my back, and everyone's asking me where the donut tattoo is going to be. Well, you will have to find it.
Yeah. around a hole.
Right, exactly. Now, Wagyu, if you could define that like in the easiest way, the way you define Kobe.
Yeah, so Wagyu in general it means Japanese beef. Wa and gyu. That means Japanese beef. That's what it translates to.
That's actually a Japanese word.
Yeah. It literally translates to Japanese beef. And then so in Japan, they have their own breed of cattle. And that's called a Tajima cattle. That's the main one that they use for Wagyu, and it's naturally a very fatty cow. And so then it's Tajima and Tajima together make A5 or A4 or A3 in Japan. It can't be A5 unless it's in Japan, because that's like the government stamp.
It's like USDA stamp.
Yeah, or prime. That's like the highest in America, based on the marbling. So what they do is, of course, they wanted to make it in America. They want to make it in Australia. They don't send out whole animals, so they send out sperm. And then they put the sperm into the Angus female, and then that baby that comes out is an F1 Wagyu. So it's
like almost first generation crossbreed.
Yes,
of a
exactly.
Japanese
That's what an
sperm.
F1 is. Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what they have. It's a lot better in Australia because they've just been doing it a lot longer. So the three criteria of Wagyu is genetics, the way it's raised, and then what it's fed. Those are the three things that make Wagyu. So you can have the genetics, but if you're feeding it like an Angus cow all day, then it's going to end up tasting and being like an Angus cow. Do you get what I mean?
Is there a licensing to be able to call it a Wagyu then, to make sure that you get that?
In the States, it goes by genetics. They know. Yeah, it's like goes off their brands and all that kind of stuff,
But we don't have a certifying
No,
body
we don't really
in the country.
certify quality. No.
Huh.
They have different criteria on the marbling. They'll just say it's like they'll say it's marbling score like so Imperial Wagyu, which this actually is. This is actually the classic grade. So on theirs it goes classic, and then signature is like that, and that one's more marbled. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so this one you see is decent marbling, but that's an F1. So that's crossed between. I don't know if you can see that or zoom in on it.
I will zoom in on it when I re-edit this video.
Okay.
I will definitely do that.
So that's a beautiful marbled looking steak, way better than Angus, and that's the lowest, So that's the lowest marbling.
And this is
American Imperial Wagyu out of Nebraska. Yeah, and they're like the second largest in the United States. The number one is Snake River Farm, which most people have heard of.
Right.
Yeah, they've been doing it a long time.
How many Wagyu farms are there in the country right now, in the States?
There's a lot, but they're small. There's probably
isn't Ron the fighter, Ronda Rousey. Wait.
Ronda Rousey, she's doing Wagyu now.
Yeah, she's. I
didn't know
believe
that.
so. I'm quite sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, she started
I didn't know
a
that.
farm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically they're growing chickens and
doing Wagyu.
cattle.
Yeah, so
and-
most of them are like that though, where it's very small production
Yeah.
Wagyu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but the actual like main producers that are selling to restaurants and things like that, you're going to see Imperial Wagyu, you're going to see Sakura Wagyu, and then Snake River Farm for the most part.
because they're more
they can mass
accessible.
yeah, exactly. And they can they have a large, program.
Yeah.
You know, so because in Montana, we have our own signature Wagyu that's raised specifically for us. That's called Yellowstone Wagyu.
So you're actually working with a particular farm right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
one
I
and
started
only
it with him
in
back like 5 years ago.
Now, how did you both get into this? Right,
Instagram.
Instagram. So Nick, you're not a chef.
Nope, not a chef. I come from a family of chefs,
Mhm.
but I took a different route in my career. I went more towards the business development space.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's an interesting story. I was just kind of cruising around on Instagram during the pandemic, trying to understand what my next move was here.
Yeah.
I'd really coming off like a 7-year hiatus from full-time work.
Mhm.
I had my first child almost 8 years ago now. And
Here
I
on Maui.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So I just decided to take some time off, and round about the pandemic, I was really starting to feel like I needed to get into something. You know, my daughter was growing up a little bit, and I was having a little more time availability. So I came across a Wagyu post, saw some smash burgers,
Yeah.
thought they were a really compelling product, came across Steve, actually ended up calling Steve's supplier.
Well, you reached out to me first.
I reached out to you first. Yeah. I reached out to you first.
You
and
were sending me DMs of,
Yeah.
of
You
locations.
slipped into
Yeah, okay,
his
now,
DM,
okay, now I got
Yeah.
it. He's like, buddy, I get messages like this every day. Show
Right.
me what you got.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did. I
And
put together a
immediate-
development package, and I shipped
That's
it off
the
to him.
reality.
And he's like, okay, let's go. Like,
And then
let's talk.
and then I'm extremely busy
Now
with
I
all the stuff
remember.
I got
Yep.
going on.
Yeah.
And then so he sends me all this stuff, but I mean, I'm not getting back to him like every day. And then I think a month went by of kind of like being quiet, and then he called my supplier, which is one of like my best friends, and then he's like, dude, that dude Nick that reached out to you, he's just called me. And and I was like, fuck, okay, I'll call him right now. I remember I was in the fucking parking lot of Ranch 99 Market. The Asian
That's him. That's my store. Okay, I know that store.
I can see it right now. And then he pitched the trailer idea, and I was just like, cool, let's fucking go. I said, me and my wife are gonna fly out there in 4 days, and we flew out in 4 days. We met at a breakfast spot right around here for the first time,
Yeah.
and then we went straight to the Hawaii food carts place that's around here, and we signed in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, we had a
You had
contract.
just met in person that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
we met in the morning. Later that afternoon, we designed our first unit, signed the build contract, and that's that.
So now your partner's here in Hawaii,
Yeah.
not quite in the whole Swagyu.
No, just here. Yeah.
Just here.
Okay, sounds good. So that's just so wild. Like, I mean, I know that you're kind of like itching to get into something, but like, holy fuck, that's like you got married like super fast. Like you
Yeah.
went to Vegas and
Yeah,
eloped.
totally. I guess we're probably still in the honeymoon phase. We haven't started to fight quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, you just opened this week,
Honeymoon.
right?
Jesus.
Yeah. So
It's been 2 years. Damn
it's
near.
been two
yeah.
years or so that you've been,
Well, it's about a year, a little over
romancing.
a year and a half.
Yeah.
We signed it, and then it took a year and a half to even get the damn trailer done.
Oh my God! Yes,
yeah, which
yes.
is crazy for a trailer.
Yeah.
Like you expect that on brick and mortar, but it is what it is.
But
we're here now.
it was shipped already made here, or did you
It
have
was built here on Maui,
It was
actually.
Built here,
Yeah.
from raw fucking steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not like
Full custom build.
not even.
I
with a
cannot wait to
trailer.
visit it because it's a butcher shop inside the
Yeah,
food
and then there's a
truck.
whole nother line that's a wood fire grill that's
Holy
connected, but
shit.
in a cage outside. So
Yeah.
that's going to be doing our dinners, our steakhouse dinners, and our tasting menu out of there. So then the main trailer will do burgers and butcher. So
No,
they both run at the same
Where
time.
you're set up right now, I mean, you're going to be doing your dinners right.
Yeah, we're going to build a whole dining room outside. Yeah, an outdoor dining room.
Yeah. Huh. That is crazy amazing. Well, I love how the food truck revolution, at least on Maui, we're always late. Okay, we're like
Yeah.
10 minutes. Sorry, that's really fast. 10 years behind with the food scene in the mainland.
Well, but to me, it's gone even bigger here because in the States, there's so many restaurants that food trucks stay in their lane. They're not. I could never do a food truck like this or trailer in the States. It would never work.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's a different culture here. It's more accepted because I think the reality is there's a lot less restaurants here because there's a lot less people here, right?
Less people, and real estate is so ridiculously expensive.
Yeah,
so.
and it just doesn't. It's a big investment when you know you only have 100,000 people that live here. You know,
and also we are outdoors all the time. So the natural
that's what I mean. It's part of the culture. Like but in California they're like, ew, you into a food truck? I mean, it's a stupid thing, but it's true. Believe me, I have one.
There's
That's
still
why
a little
saying
stigma
that.
to it.
Yeah, it's like it's not. It's an unspoken subconscious stigma that it's not high end food or it's not ethically made or raised or whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
They think you're going to cash and carry and buying your product and then just putting it together. They don't think you're actually chefs.
Yeah,
you know?
but I love that we're breaking bounds now. I mean,
Huge.
I kind of had the same when I first opened here. Within the first month, some guy came in. Of course, like he just saw, handwritten in chalk, like donuts or whatever. So he walks in, and when he saw his total, he's like, "What? Like, how much did you say your donuts are?" And then he said to me, "He's like, you'll never make it. He's like, you'll be closed in 2 months, if that." He said to me, and I was like, "No, these are special donuts, right?" So again.
Do you have any idea how many times I heard that?
Yeah, I bet. No, for sure.
I know exactly.
And then opening in a hole in the wall kind of place. You know, there's a chop shop right across, not the kind of chop shop that you have, with old cars and stuff right in front of me, and hookers were like walking up and down the street like at night, and I see them because I'm here at 2:00 in the morning. Yeah. You know, but nobody would expect to see like an elevated anything in this space. Yeah. But that's what we're doing. Is like
100%.
We're changing that, kind of like you opened your brick and mortar.
The original one, yeah.
In the most unlikely place.
Yeah, exactly.
But how did you see through that if you're not in the industry? Sorry, I'm just kind of like curious how a businessman was like, hey, I'm going to invest in this.
I might not be a chef, but I've certainly been in the food and beverage industry for 20 years. I ran a winery in California. We had a fine dining restaurant there. I've been in and out of the catering space for years. And I come from a family of chefs and entrepreneurs. So for me, the vision part is easy. It's putting all the disparate pieces together to get our supply right, get a good solid partner, get the communication nailed. Because we're out here, 3,500 miles away from HQ. So just the logistic lift that this took to land this concept here in Hawaii at the quality level that we require to operate was a challenge.
Yeah.
It was a big challenge. So Steve has an amazing team on the mainland. We have some ex-military logistics guys that are working on getting the shipping nailed.
We send everything on shipping containers. Yeah. Everything.
We're vertically integrated. We control every aspect of our business. Yeah. And it's not because we're control freaks. It might be a little bit because we're control freaks, but it's really because we're dedicated to the brand. Yeah. We're the stewards of the brand. The brand is its thing right now. Steve has done an amazing job building this brand. The brand really is taking on its own life.
I'm so sorry. I'm so distracted by your voice. Like, you could be like a radio DJ. Like, you have this beautiful...
Well, we're test firing it right now.
I'm really, like, jealous because I have this high-pitched voice. It's really freaking annoying. I hate my voice. That's why I'm not only doing an audio podcast. I got to do a video podcast to kind of distract from how I don't like my voice. But, sorry, I was just, like, really jealous by how the
See,
beautiful
when I speak,
timbre.
It sounds super high, but everybody tells me, like...
Oh, no, it sounds so good. Sorry, anyways. It's kind of one of my, my issues with, insecurities when it comes to like doing a show where I'm speaking in front of people. Like, God damn, I sound like a fucking child, and I can't help it. Like, I get excited, my voice gets shrieky, and I'm screaming before you know it. Okay, thank you. Anyways, but yeah, so you saw that, and with your experience in the industry, wine industry, in hospitality, food. Hospitality
I saw a strong brand, and I saw a strong man behind the brand.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
And. We became fast friends. We share kind of no bullshit, go out there and get it done type of attitude about life and business. Yeah. I know for a fact that I go to sleep and I wake up thinking about Swagyu, and I know Steve probably dreams about Swagyu.
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
And it's just all the pieces really fell together, and I think it was really about timing. The timing was right. Yeah. I think if I called Steve yesterday with this same concept, I think he has a really full plate.
Timing is everything.
It's everything.
Absolutely.
So the time was right.
I think life-altering anything can happen in like a split second. Like I made a left, and it was just the right time.
Yep.
Well, and for me, it's like, to me, the way it made sense in my head was Nick was at a point where he was looking for something. He's interested in the Wagyu space. First of all, because he's smart and he understands that he understands that Wagyu for the mainstream was still at that point like 10% of what it is now.
Absolutely.
It exploded during COVID. You know, so it made sense. And then he saw this brand and he's just like, oh fuck, you know, like that should just be everywhere. Because I mean, to be honest, like right now, I get 50 people a day DMing me because they want, this needs to be in Tallahassee. I'm like, where the fuck is Tallahassee? First of all, no offense to anyone, but you know, so literally, and it's just like, and I'm like, cool. And then I literally have a thing copied and pasted in my notes that I immediately send back. Yeah, a response. Because then it says, okay, show me this, show me that, show me this. What's the demographic in the area? How many restaurants per capita? Whatever, right? Yeah. And then most people are like, I don't know, bro. I just thought it was a dope idea. And I'm like, cool.
Don't waste my time.
Me too. And I say, for sure, me too. And that's it. And then I just ignore it, right? Yeah. And then, you know, and then people like him and people like in Boston and I have a few in the works that it's like the same thing. Like they already called with the whole fucking deal, like broke down, you know. And those are the ones, you know, are worth time, you know. But and then for me also, Hawaii was at the top of my list because I wanted to do the West before I went to the East. And you can't get more west than this, right? And then it happened to be on Maui, and that literally that's all I needed to hear, to be honest. Yeah. Because I came to Maui when I was 18, and I fell in love with Maui. It was like it's always just been a dream just to be here in one way or another. And I'm like, cool, right off, I get to be out there the whole time. I get to visit Maui constantly, and it's like it's work, you know.
So I want to go back to the Maui and why here on Maui, but Nick. Looking at the brand, right, I kind of have this interesting, like in my mind, it's very interesting because I am very attached to my brand as well. So you saw a brand with a person so closely attached to the brand. Was that a little risky, don't you think? Or, you know, when building...
I think the initial conversation was risky in the sense that it's going to be a yes or no vibe. Yeah. And Chef Steve left the door open for me to show my intention and to show my research and to show what I could do. Right. So we kind of met in the middle, so to speak, you know? And since then, since a year and a half ago, Steve's brand has exploded even more, and he's opened multiple locations. And I was fortunate enough to go and be a part of the early days of the flagship restaurant and really step in there in the first days of Steve getting to that space. And it was an interesting experience for me because I was seeing the inner workings of Swagyu as a brand. Yeah. And as a machine that produces content, product, notoriety, and it's also been Swagyu and Steve. There's no arguing that they, as a brand and as an individual, have been instrumental in the expansion of Wagyu, probably in the conversation, in the culinary conversation in the space here in the United States. Right,
because you're educating about it, which I want to go back to that as well.
And he's relatable. He's not a. I mean, he is an elite chef, but he's not an elite chef that sequesters himself away from his customers. Right. He is driven and motivated by that interaction, and I've seen him. Yeah. Literally teach people and land this product and land the philosophy of Wagyu, which I think is a super interesting.
So how did you figure that this will work on Maui? Because to me, Maui is such a...
I don't see how Swagyu could not work anywhere, frankly. It's such a strong brand. It has such a compelling product. And what we do is so fucking tight and good and mind-blowing that we could put this anywhere. Yeah, and it would blow up within the context of where it is.
You know, there's someone that I think sells Wagyu here, like, you know, that if you're a chef, you could get it from someone, but it's probably the same people that like sell it to Cisco or whatever, right? It's
not the same thing.
Right. It's not the same thing. And the connections I have directly with Japan, it all plays into that brand, because I could have been a guy that, you know, wears pink dolphin shorts and a tank top that's in good shape, cutting Wagyu with the sword and be easily be looked at like as a gimmick, which a lot of my haters do say that, but it's just because.
Hey, you're talking to the donut lady that's always naked. Okay, so that's like, is that your gimmick? Like, no, I really love being naked, and the donuts are really fucking good.
Yeah,
like, they speak for themselves.
And for me, it was just my brand. And it was a way to make myself more relatable and not pretentious, because that's the entire thing. Our brand is high end, but it's not pretentious. It's accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
And then we broke Wagyu down in a financial way that everyone can taste it. It's not just by the pound or by the ounce in the restaurant, and you get a little block cut and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know, we break it down into very affordable ways, so you can I mean, it's still expensive, but we break it down into little teeny blocks if they want to, or whatever, and we don't frown upon that. And we're there to educate, and we have the full spectrum from the Americans going from all the way to the highest BMS 12 Japanese, and then us being so. I couldn't do the brand stuff if I didn't. It wouldn't have worked if I wasn't backing it up. I've been a chef my entire life. I started as a dishwasher when I was in Germany as an 18-year-old kid, you know, and worked through like a lot of the best restaurants and things like that. But I'm certified by Kobe. Like that's to be a white boy that's like, you know, certified by the Japanese government and all, you know, and their Wagyu committee, and then also Kobe is a big deal. And what it did is, because the way I am, because I don't sit there and try to be a Japanese chef, that's what opened the door to, oh, okay, I can try this. He's a fucking American. He's one of me. You know, I'm talking about the people on the other end.
Right.
You know, they can relate to me because I'm an obnoxious American, like 90% of them are.
Yeah.
You know, it's true.
Yes.
Because if you were just so Wagyu, the only way it was used to be accessible, I'm talking about A5, is if you're going, or if you're going to go all the way to Kobe, it's like a sushi restaurant that has 3 Michelin stars in New York, and you couldn't afford it if you wanted to, and you would have to have a 6-month out reservation. In most people, that's unaccessible. You could never taste that.
Yeah.
And for us, I made it. You can come in to my shitty little spot, walk in, and you could buy a little block of Kobe for like fucking $50, and that's unheard of. Like, it's not that accessible. You have to drop $1,000 on dinner to get that one little piece.
Yeah.
It comes with baggage. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
we stripped it all down.
I love that so this is the thing. I almost felt guilty. I actually thought I felt guilty that I'm excited about having you on the show, because I always talk about sustainability on Maui, and I come from like the boonies in the Philippines, and I always try to elevate the humble ingredients. So to me, Wagyu or Kobe to me is like, whoa, that's kind of almost against what I teach out there, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to go into the sustainability aspect of Wagyu and why this is actually a better choice than your standard beef that you will get at Costco, which these people who are going to Costco would probably think Wagyu, like, fuck this. Like, this is like elitist, right?
Yeah.
So let's...
well, you know, to break it down in the most layman version ever is, think about when you're talking about actual Kobe, right? That they only sanction 5,000 whole cows a year for the entire world. That's nothing.
Yeah.
You're talking about Greater Omaha steaks, where everyone gets their commodity Angus steaks. They're 4 giant plants. They slaughter at each one of the plants. The slaughterhouse is like 4,000 a day.
Fuck.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
We had a cattle
for the world.
A ranch when I was a kid, so I can't even imagine. We had like
they're on a
21.
conveyor belt, zoom, 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 and then that's the meat you have here is not from here. It's all from there.
Yeah.
You know, all of it. You know,
and that's what the vegans are freaked out about when they think about meat.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. So if you cherished your time of eating meat and just ate something nicer, first of all, I mean, I'm not going to get into the emissions and all of this stuff.
Right.
You'd have a third of the amount of cows. The rainforests are just getting just ripped apart, because in Brazil, in the Amazon, because that's the #1 beef supplier in the world now, and that kind of stuff that's commodity beef. Watch, I'm gonna get like killed after this. You don't fuck with big beef. No, but I'm not naming companies, but it's the reality, right? And so they're just trying to turn and burn and pump it out. And also, Angus is slaughtered between 12 months and 16 months. Japanese Wagyu is like 35 months. So you're raising this cow a lot longer. You're treating it nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't. We don't suspend them in the air, but no, it doesn't run around. And that all started because Japan is tiny. They don't have the rolling fields of Nebraska or the plains and things like this just to have them everywhere. It came down to me that it comes down to necessity. Yes, they feed it the leftover sake, fermented rice because sustainable because they have it, right? And then they realize, oh my God, this makes it extremely rich and explosive.
And happy. Hey.
Yeah, and happy. And then it's not moving around much because they don't have the big sprawling things,
And you know
right?
what's interesting is they're eating something fermented, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we're talking about humans eating more fermented food so that you have a healthier gut.
Yeah.
And
well,
so
cows have 4 stomachs,
yeah.
and so they have a whole routine of the way that they need to eat and the way they break food down and all of that kind of stuff. But that's just when you come to like the finishing and the marbling and all of these things. But anything nicer is normally more sustainable. You just have to stop eating the commodity shit.
100%.
And that's like I could eat a steak like this once a week that we charge. I mean, that thing's probably like $50 or something like that. But that's what you should eat once a week.
Yeah.
Not shitty commodity steaks 5 times a week. You know. And then that right there, if it is creating global warming, then there you go. It's just stop eating commodity shit.
Yeah.
Tastes terrible anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Try a Wagyu steak and you won't ever eat a fucking Angus steak ever again.
It's nice to be spoiled because there is a reason why you're spoiled. It's really good. And when I tell people that, for example, I eat my donuts and I make the donuts on Saturdays. You have it once a week and it's well made.
Exactly.
You don't have to go buy
It's intentional.
$1. I mean,
and guess what? The health,
then
it doesn't bother you on the health side either. It's when you eat them 7 days a week. I'm having coffee and donuts. And again, commodity shit donuts from the 7-Eleven or whatever it is.
Safeway or whatever. Whenever people's like, what? $6 for a donut? Trust me, I'm actually undercharging you.
Yeah, exactly. And believe me, that's what I say that same shit every day. So should I sear this off?
Yes. So what are we doing with this, chef?
Okay.
We're just simply searing it. Okay.
Yeah, so this is an Imperial Wagyu classic grade, and then the heat, up to like 400. So classic grade New York strip. So that's the lowest grade actually, but it still has really good marbling.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And so this is an F1 from Imperial Wagyu, and that's half Angus genetics and then half Tajima genetics. So they get a lot more marble than this, but that's a very good marbling for the lower grade. This is what we call our everyday steak. We charge $50 a pound. That's actually like 12 ounces, so that's probably like $35 or something like that. But again, $35, 2 people can share this, and so then you're talking $17.50 per person. You're getting 6 ounces of amazing steak, and you cook at home and just cook some vegetables with it from your local farm. That's how you should be eating.
Yeah, you can buy a burger for that amount. That's like shit.
And but you know why? But it comes with fries. But that's the truth. That's their mentality. Well, does it at least come with fries? I get that all the time. No. You know why I don't put it with fries? Even if I did the cost right, it would still send a message that I'm trying to give you a deal on a meal. Fuck a deal on a meal. Yeah. Because then it needs to be commodity shit. Yeah. Food should not be a deal that you put into your body. Food should just cost what it's actually supposed to cost. Yeah. That's the reality. Yeah. And the reason Japanese Wagyu is so expensive, think about if you had to raise an animal for 4 times that you're feeding it and you have people taking care of it. Yeah. Right there's the cost. Yeah. You get what I'm trying to say?
Oh, absolutely.
And so, it's just things like that. People are brainwashed.
And also, like, most people think of these automatic, everything is, like you said, commodity. We grew up, this generation grew up in a fast food.
Are you kidding me? It was either drive-through or out of a
they don't even know what a good piece of meat looks like when it's like a prime cut before you break it down. So what does it look like?
Oh, what do you mean? Chicken strips grow on trees.
Oh my God!
At your favorite organic farm.
It's crazy. So where I grew up, I had to catch my own chicken, in the backyard to cook it. So I raised it. I played with it. They grew up and I ate them. Okay, but like I had to dress it myself. We have to have a fight a little bit when they're ready to be eaten. But that relationship, I think, is lost in a lot of this
zero
generation.
Connection to food.
Yeah, zero connection with food. And actually, it's so interesting. It's one of the things I'm trying to do here. I mean, the podcast is fun. I'm talking about sustainability all the time, but it always goes back to food for me because that's what we are, right? And it goes back to my upbringing and why it's important to have that relationship with food. I mean, make donuts, but I want to see the ingredients, like from whole. Like I literally had one of my chef friends message me this morning, like, hey, when are you gonna make that coconut fritter again? And I was like, yeah, when I get fresh coconuts, because I like whacking them myself. You know, I enjoy that.
Well, and that's
I don't get coconut milk out of a can these days. Like I gotta have the real thing. So when you have that relationship,
you know,
that
there's seasons.
Yeah.
They have no idea. They have no idea.
If it's not available, it's not available. You know?
Interesting thing about Japanese Wagyu in specific is these were, you know, the Japanese, they don't eat a ton of beef.
Yeah.
They just don't. So the origins of these genetics, they're draft animals. These are farm animals. These are animals that were part of the family and
oh, can you please turn?
You know, I don't want to say a tool because they weren't a tool. They were more than a tool, but they were an integral part of sustaining the lifestyle, the rural lifestyle, where you need a draft animal that you're going to care for years. Mm-hmm. And that lifestyle is basically what evolved this breed into becoming this amazing food product that we have now.
Yeah.
It was their lifestyle. They traditionally lived longer because they were useful to the family and useful to the small farms.
And then they're eating the rice straw because you have to grow rice.
Because that's what you have.
Right.
Japan is not covered with miles and miles and miles of grasslands. It's rocky as fuck over there.
Yeah.
You know?
Small islands.
They're small islands, so
they make use of their space as
efficiently as they could. And very much like the French wine industry, where you have appellations and terroir. There are these different regional areas in Japan that have very distinctive attributes to the beef. The bloodlines might be from a shared source, but just the sheer differences between the regions that they're being raised in, it changes the characteristics of the beef.
Do you think it's like a cultural thing too per region? Because I feel like
Well, okay, so certain regions produce cherries. Certain regions produce sake.
Right.
Certain regions have olives. Certain regions have apples. So the byproducts of the agricultural process, the kind of egalitarian agricultural process that happens in Japan, because it's a very traditional society and it has been for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, all these little elements stack up to create these regional differences.
Yeah.
Which now become part of the tapestry of the Wagyu industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And that it's just
there's
just more to dig into, more to drill into, more to find out about it, because it's a traditional product that really is just now coming into the awareness of the Western mind.
Yeah. Okay, so while this is getting ready, tell us about this beautiful piece of shit. I mean, I'm touching it.
Touch away.
Look at this beauty.
You want to hold it?
Holy, I want to hold it. Oh my god.
It's a Wagyu baby.
Look at this sexy thing.
So that's a New York strip from the Kagoshima Prefecture of Japan. That's BMS 11.
It's giving me goosebumps just like looking at the marbling on that.
Yeah, so BMS means
happy life.
Beef marbling
happy life.
Store. Yeah.
That's a happy life right there.
Yeah.
That was a happy cow.
One bad day.
Happy cow. They say happy cows from California, but I don't think so.
Yeah, happy cows are from Japan.
Yeah. They're more space there.
In Montana.
Absolutely beautiful.
Drinking the #1 water in the world.
Wow. Fuck.
That's an appropriate response.
Yeah, I told you. I was like, oh my god. Well, actually, there is a scientific evidence on why I cannot tell if I'm hungry or horny. Because, anyways, I'm gonna butcher it again.
I think they share the same space.
Yeah.
It's it's this deep, visceral reaction to something
it's kind of a weird thing.
Really gets you going.
I need to actually research that and actually have the right terminology. But I was listening to a neuroscientist talking about it, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I knew it! I'm not crazy."
It shares the same space in the brain.
I'm crazy,
absolutely.
but shit.
It's a longing for good stuff that makes your body feel good.
Yeah, it's a dopamine, and it's like I get so excited about it, and you have it, and you're like, okay, now you get all your serotonin, and you want to sleep with it.
Now you can chill.
And Just hug it. Wow. And that's the thing too. I mean, what does it need? Okay. Oh, by the way, you guys do the smash burgers, and I saw that you have 3 different kinds of Wagyu in one smash burger.
Yeah, so it's 1/3 of American Wagyu F1, 1/3 of Australian F1, and then 1/3 of A5 Japanese Wagyu that we just showed.
So when you're eating the burger, though, like one of my friends asked me this question. She's probably watching right now. Is that it's like how do you tell which one's which? Because I know that's part of the education when you're talking about.
It's all incorporated into the grind.
Oh, okay. So it's
blended into one patty.
It's just triple freaking layer.
Before we grind it, because we grind the Wagyu every day by hand, and so you cut it up into the proper cube size, and then you mix it up the 1/3 and against with the 1/3, 1/3. You mix it all up evenly, and then you grind it after it's been mixed, and so then that makes the grind that comes out is perfectly mixed with a third of each.
Its own blend, basically.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
So what are the characteristics of each Wagyu that makes it that blend that you want?
So, because A5, you can't have just a straight A5 burger because it's just going to be this mushy. It'll turn out to be a like a meat net, you know, because the fat will render out. So what you need to do is you need to add some bite to it, and that's where it comes from the American Wagyu, where it's a little bit leaner, but then we grind it so it gives people don't want this burger that's going to literally just melt. They want to still be able to bite through a burger. Yeah. So it's the mouthfeel and the tooth feel that I R&D before I cooked the first burger like almost 2 years ago. We R&D'd it for like 2.5 months.
Yeah,
you know, getting the right percentage of grind.
And then the Australian Wagyu, what are the characteristics of the Australian Wagyu that would benefit with? It's beautiful.
So it's sweetness, savory, salt, and then umami. You know, those are the different characteristics, and it's that mouthfeel immediately makes your mouth. What, you know, like when they used to say like the Heinz 57, it gets you right here. You know, it gives you kind of that little tingle, and then it makes your mouth. Just staring at this right now. It's making my mouth water, just like when I used to buy cocaine, you know? I get
high. You talk about the dopamine.
I get high before I even smoke the first line.
It's a drug.
You know?
I even told this guy, I was like, I cannot make decisions. I probably cannot make life decisions after eating this because, like, I said to him, it's like, if I have sex, like, I cannot make life-changing decisions within 2 days. It's a fucking drug. Yeah. So when you have that thing, it's like, I gotta calm down and think straight. Otherwise, I'll forget everything, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm selling my everything, my life away, because I'm just like, woo, yeah, whatever, take it, you know. So that's probably the same rule with the Wagyu. Don't make life-altering decisions after eating this meat. Just saying, I don't know, from my own experience, I don't trust myself.
I make life decisions about it every day.
I know.
Wait, so do I get to use your fucking crazy?
Oh my God, yes, I
hell
need to
is
have
that
it sharpened. So this is a machine that made for me for whacking my coconuts.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
But I haven't sharpened it, Chef.
It's
I kind of feel bad.
This is a tender beef.
Oh my God, he's using my machete. This makes me so fucking happy. You have no idea. I've whacked like donut, like I've thrown donuts in the air and split it open like a fucking superhero with that thing.
You have your own sword.
That's my sword. You know, we're all I'm basically donut unicorn superhero. So you're basically the
donut unicorn superhero.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hello. I mean, look
the
at
world
that
needs
painting.
more of those.
Holy shit! I'm just gonna dig it.
Yeah, get it.
Oh my God.
You're not gonna feed me?
Nope.
Right? That thing slaps.
Yeah.
It's so good. And it just goes up from here. You know, and every different producer in the different global regions of Wagyu, they all have their own characteristic, man. So you get to kind of re-experience it over and over and over again.
Well, and this sells better in the United States because Americans are used to eating an Angus steak.
Right, so this is closest to what they need.
Yeah, so it's filled with the Japanese umami, which you can taste. So all that marbling is really from the Japanese. Yeah. But then the structure of the steak is like an American steak that they have nostalgia from eating as a child.
Yeah, go.
So you know, so it's a whole deal. And see, when you pay for something, when you pay good money for something very good, you don't waste it. When you're buying a shitty steak, you halfway through, you're like, it costs $5, throw it away. How is that sustainable? That's the worst. Yeah. How about buy something that makes your mouth fucking water and pay more money for it because you're not going to waste your money on You're not going to throw it away because it's so good.
Absolutely.
You need to be financially committed to something, or what's the point?
Yeah. I talk about sustainable happiness, and that includes having a naughty time. To me, this is part of having that naughtiness, and naughty and bad are two different things. To me, this is not bad. It's naughty, and we need naughty in life. Otherwise, we're not going to giggle and we're not going to get excited about life. You know, it should be something that you don't feel guilty about.
That's a great philosophy.
It's something worth having, because otherwise, what is life about?
To me, this is food with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
This food has a deep level of integrity. It has a deep level of purpose.
And
it delivers, and you can feel it.
Like reach in.
Yeah, I get it.
So I have something that's very sustainable. You want me to pull out the foie gras
Yes,
now?
please. Let's. No. I'm all about this because, like I said, I felt slightly guilty that I was like, oh my god, why am I so excited about this? I'm trying to promote the simplicity of life and how we can sustain ourselves growing our own food or sourcing most of our food here on Maui. So I felt like, am I being off? I don't want to use the word brand if that means anything in this.
It means everything.
Yeah.
But I always talk about being humble with your food. But there is something humbling too about understanding where your food comes from and why being okay with loving luxury and something good in life is sustainable. And it's not like, you were even talking about being real and being this is you. Like, I don't want to be overly righteous because that's not sustainable.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a friend, for example, Sunny Savage. She's a world-renowned forager, right? But she also says the same thing. She doesn't just live on forage things just because that's something she's passionate about. That's impractical as shit.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine not smiling and just eating crap?
Because you're going to lose the war if that's what you tell everyone.
Yeah.
It's a balance, man.
When people say they're on a diet and that's really like strict diet that they can't enjoy life, you can't sustain that. You're going to be unhappy. You're going to be a fucking bitch. I don't want to be around you.
I don't want to diet from enjoying life.
Yeah.
That sounds like a terrible diet.
It is terrible. It's balanced, right? And that's what we're trying to show people too. Like, we're all talking here, we're sitting here talking about, like, it's not like this is the only thing we eat 3 times a day, 7 days a week.
No, absolutely not.
It's not a commodity. It's something to be enjoyed fully and appreciated. You don't just, like, take, fucking shove it in your mouth.
In our burger, for instance, you probably can't even name a burger joint that actually grinds their meat, even if it's just commodity Angus every day. You can't. They get it pre-ground from Cisco.
Yeah.
You can't. And we take the highest beef, which normally when people take the highest beef like this, they're getting it pre-ground from somewhere.
Yeah.
We're even grinding it ourselves, and we're grinding the top beef in the world. Like, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
And regular burger shops, that's when people are like, in San Diego, oh yeah, this place is the best. I'm like, they literally buy all their fucking shit from Smart and Final, which is like a cash and carry. Every ingredient. I said, there's not one of our ingredients that come from there. So, and I'm not saying that's a bad burger, but that's a $5 burger. Mine's a $20 burger.
Yeah.
And it's because of the cost of goods, not because I'm a pretentious fucking asshole that wants to charge $20 for my burger.
I wanted to go back to that
that's
because
literally the right cost.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to that because we're talking about brand, and you saw a man behind this, this brand, and how you thought like he can stand behind this, and it's solid. It's not
I saw
just
integrity. I saw a man that believes in what he's doing, and I saw a guy who is serving his community. He's been doing it a long time. He's a master of his craft. Mm-hmm. But he also had this sense of individuality to where he was kind of lifting the lid off the bullshit of the beef industry, and bringing Wagyu out of that 1% realm and putting it on the street.
Yeah.
Putting it on the street. Yeah. Making it available to people who didn't even think they were capable or allowed to have a product like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, that was super compelling and honestly refreshing.
Yeah.
I mean, we were doing our tasting menu pop-up, traveling around the world for 5 years. It's extremely fucking hard to do that. Most of the time, someone's doing a pop-up to open a restaurant. We were doing a pop-up and traveling with it because it wasn't a sustainable thing to have a brick and mortar because people didn't even know enough about Wagyu, even in San Diego. And so that we had to take it on the road. It's like, I always make this analogy, which I always say, like, it's like if Jay-Z was on Maui and he's like, I'm only going to have concerts in Maui now. who the fuck's gonna come after? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's just what you get what I mean, right?
Yeah,
and so it's
yeah.
like you can't have this crazy aggressive concept back then when people weren't educated about it. And so basically, I had already, and then the pandemic came. I had already done all the work for 5 years up to that, and educated myself, and became a master of all things Wagyu, but self-taught again. But the thing is that I already given myself that base, so I saw the opportunity through COVID to do all these different things, and then actually now I had the space to educate the community, because they couldn't go to restaurants. They had to come here to get something nice, because all the restaurants are closed.
Yeah.
So the people that would normally go to a nice restaurant, they're spending their money on steaks at my place now, and I was the one there working the counter. And so I was always trying to spread a message before, but you're doing one dinner a week for 40 people. You're only educating so many people.
Limited.
And now I'm shipping nationwide, and so it's like there's nobody out of my reach.
Yeah.
So
it
that was the
actually
difference.
worked out for you. I mean, I hate to say this because I think a lot of people, their lives changed super fucked up after the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I was working 7 days a week without a day off for 5 years before that, so as much as that was it was a fucking shocker, what the fuck do I do now?
It was also a nice break.
Yeah, it was a nice break because it forced you to step back and was that concept actually working?
Right.
Was that sustainable?
Right.
Was it actually going to be working
Right.
for me in the long run?
Yeah.
And you actually reached more people, and you can keep that integrity without losing money
Totally.
as much,
Yeah.
and the risk, brick and mortar, sometimes without that education,
Yeah.
you would have fallen under that same trendy, cool restaurant scene
Right.
if you didn't have the backup of, what you're saying, having the education that you're putting out there
Yeah.
about Wagyu.
Yeah, well, and the thing was too is that's how the brand got built so fast, is people were stuck at home. I already had a big following because of my Wagyu dinners. So I was pivoting with my same skill set.
Yes.
Most people pivoted fuck, I was a restaurant manager, now I'm going to go into real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
yes, I
and
see that.
5 of those worked, and then 100,000 of them didn't work.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and I saw a lot of restaurant chefs who were working in high-end places. Then they opened food trucks, for example, and they went straight into the simplest thing, which I get it. It works, and it's probably practical for them at the time. But we're talking about integrity, and there's something about that. You fucking hold on to that no matter what.
Yeah.
And when you hold on to it, what seems to be the hardest time, that's when you stand out.
Yeah,
and
you don't compromise
sincere.
the integrity of what you do.
Yeah.
You just pivot it in the business model, and that's
Exactly.
and literally that's what we did, and then and you want to talk about sustainability? Here's the best one. So
Yes, please.
so when we started the butcher shop online, right when the pandemic happened, we were shipping online, and it was for pickups. Every single steak that we were cutting created about 2 ounces of trim, right? And then so what we did with that was this cost me the same $50 a pound as the steak does, right? Because I buy by the weight, right?
Yeah.
And so what we did is I was okay, we're gonna come up with our own grind, and this is when we figured out the grind. I was okay, let's do half A5 and half American Wagyu that we were gonna use. And then that was too much, and then we did it a few different times, and we came up with the third, and the third. And that was just and we were just selling it raw. Do you get what I mean? In our butcher shop, right? Because it was to not have the waste of all this trim. What are we going to do with it,
Absolutely.
right? And then we started making burger patties, and putting 2 in a pack, and then selling them that raw. We did that for a year, and then dining was starting to come back, and I was okay, guys, dining's starting to come back. Now we have to fucking pivot back into cooking. See, that was the thing too. That's why I opened so many restaurants so fast, is because we were the first ones ready to start cooking again.
Yeah.
And we just pivoted back into cooking. But now we took that grind that we've already been producing. Now we're okay, let's actually cook a burger. Because that was our number one sold thing in the butcher shop too, because it was accessible.
Yeah.
So you can get the real Wagyu for fucking $9 a patty, kind of thing. And so everyone was buying that and cooking burgers at home. And then we were okay, we're going to launch our burger. And we R&D'd it for a month and a half or 2 months, something like that, because part of the original R&D was already done from the grind, because we did that months before, or a year before. And then R&D on how to do the burger. Okay, it's single patty. No, it's got to be double. No, cheddar cheese. No, cheddar cheese is too strong. It's got to be American, even though I hate American cheese.
I know, I was going to say.
No, it's
generally, I say that.
It's because you don't want, the product is the grind. So if you put in these these cheddars or these whatevers, those have such a strong flavor that it masks over the Wagyu, and you're really paying for the Wagyu.
Yeah.
So and American cheese melts the best regardless. I fucking hate American cheese.
I would never ever fucking buy it
There's
for
different
myself.
levels of American cheese. You'd be
Except
surprised.
on a burger. It's the only fucking space. And you can ask anyone. I hate it. I will not. If I get a burger that has American cheese and then the little corners that hang and those get cold, I have to peel them off because I can't eat it.
I know. Oh my god, I get scared.
I'm a fucking weirdo.
I get scared.
But it's the fucking best cheese. Forget the cheese. So we're getting to the we're getting to the sustainable part.
Yes.
That just made it right as a dish and by the chef, the balance, right?
Yeah.
And then so we figured out, okay, it's 2 patties, 2 4-ounce patties, double, smash burger, blah, 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 brioche bun, and then our secret sauce. Once all that was R&D'd and finished, and we're finally there after like 50 versions, then we opened Burger. And we opened Burger, we knew we were going to be busy, but we had no idea. All of a sudden, fucking line down the street of like 150 people waiting to get this burger. Because again, we were the first ones open for food.
Yeah.
Because people were like, okay, let's ramp this restaurant back up again, because they've been closed for a fucking year, whatever it was. And we went straight into it, had a fucking line down the street, this whole deal. And then we ended up, and then we got the food truck and then PB and all this. And then now we're going through so much grind that we're buying all of the other online retailers' trim from them, which they were just throwing in the trash.
So we're making them a zero waste kitchen now.
Yeah, so now they're zero waste, and now I'm negative waste. Because I'm buying the trim from all the other online butcher shops that normally goes into the trash in the landfills.
Oh my god!
And so now that's how we get the A5, because from our own, because we ship nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were just to cut an A5 steak like the one I showed you and then grind it, then now that burger's $200.
Right.
Like the ones that you've seen with real Wagyu burgers before, they're always in a fine dining restaurant.
Yeah.
Because that's why they, when they say most expensive burger and it's got foie gras on the inside and it's A5 on the outside and it's like a $1,000 burger because they put fucking gold shit on the outside.
And that's so stupid, by the way.
It's just a gimmick.
It's
all just a gimmick. It's all just a gimmick.
Like with the fucking bubble, it's like, sorry, the bubble's gonna be gone.
Yeah, it's all just a gimmick, And so that's the whole idea, is that this is real Wagyu. It's a real Wagyu burger that we can hit at the $20 mark. Yes, it's an expensive burger. It does not come with fucking fries, but the idea is that anybody can throw down a 20, even if you're a broke ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
You can find a 20 for a special occasion to buy a fucking burger.
100%. I had a couple who literally came in here with their food stamp thingy to buy a donut because they thought it was worth it.
Yeah.
To buy
oh my god,
that's an amazing experience as a purveyor and as a creator, that somebody took their time and their limited resources and came to you because they trust you.
In the pandemic, when we were just a butcher shop, everyone was on unemployment.
Yeah.
9 out of fucking 10 cards was an unemployment card, and they're buying like a $250 steak. Yeah. Because again, it was like this accessible thing. Because this is the thing, it's like they're not scared to buy a $200 Japanese ribeye. They don't want to fuck it up, but that's why we have our YouTube channel. It's a video of me showing you how to cook every single one.
That's great.
And so that's all they're worried about.
I love that you have support.
Yeah.
And
we're
how to treat
100% there to support our customers.
And every steak, when we ship it online, has the QR code for that exact video. So you just scan the steak and it shows you exactly how to cook it.
God,
it's foolproof.
And so
I'm taking notes.
So the deal is though, what was I about to say about that?
Sorry, at sustainability, you're using the meats from all these other countries.
Oh no! That they all came in with their EBT cards, and they're buying these steaks and all this stuff. And the other thing is that what I touched on earlier, the only chance that an average person could get access to A5 Wagyu, you'd have to go to these really fancy restaurants, and they only sell a block cut for 4 ounces, and it's $30 an ounce. But when you go in there, you can't go in and say, okay, I just want the block cut. Because now you're adding 20% tip on there. You got to get a drink. You're probably getting a side. No matter what, that experience is going to cost you $500.
Yeah.
But if you come to my shop, you can get just that little block and then take it home. Yeah, it might have cost you $80, but that's all it's costing you. There's no plus like you do when you go to a restaurant. Yeah. So that's really how we made it accessible. Because we actually gave you access to buy it.
I really appreciate how you made something elitist to most people.
Only the 1%, really.
Accessible.
Yeah, to everyone.
I really appreciate that. Because, again, when I talk about sustainability, I don't want to be unrealistic about it. Yeah. And I also don't like good food to be only available to people who can pay a lot of money.
Yeah,
and I think Maui, actually, in particular, right? When I first moved here, that was kind of one of the things that I felt like, it's like to get good food, like semi-good food, you have to spend so much money. You have to go to the resorts or the
you gotta
expensive
go
restaurants.
to Wailea
Yeah, and so I mean, you know, it's not like I can change that by myself.
Yeah, exactly.
But I felt like I had to be a voice for that. Like, I specifically chose to be in Wailuku for that same reason. Like, I wanted to make something that you cannot find typically in a, you know, hole in the wall kind of place, and it's so elevated, but it reaches out to the normal, you know, everyday guy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's literally what the trailer does in enlightening.
That's
90. We just finished our opening week yesterday. It was a short week, 4-day week, because we opened on Thursday. We're normally Wednesday to Sunday. We sold out halfway through Sunday, but I knew we were going to be busy. This might sound arrogant. It's just I just know my brand. I knew we were going to be busy no matter what. Yeah. But this is the off season for tourism right now.
It is.
So we were packed, and there's been all these food trucks in that lot for like three weeks or a month or a couple months.
It's a new food.
Yeah, and hopefully it's gonna start doing well, you know. But they haven't really had anything, and we're just packed. And then we realized, I mean, it's actual locals, like real locals, like from here, that were all coming, and the support that we got, you know, because we, you know, through Chef Alvin and all these people that really, you know, they know we're not just, they know we're a real brand, and we're gonna bring something real to the island. We're not just mainlanders here trying to steal all the money. You know what I mean? We're really bringing something that's going to be a part of the community.
Yeah, and it's going to go back to the community.
Exactly.
Which is very important. I mean, that's why I asked, like, you're not like a corporate company, like doing
not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's coming back to the community.
We come from the service industry.
From the whole Swagyu mainland, with all my big restaurant group, I'm still the only owner. Well, my wife too, so she's really the fucking boss.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
I interviewed Janice Simeon here, and you know, everybody knows Chef Sheldon, you know, but I wanted to talk to her specifically because I'm like, we know who the boss is.
Yeah.
So is there one thing in particular that if there is one thing you want to put out there about Wagyu, or, well, probably we're not going to say Kobe, but Wagyu in general, that if, like, in a concise way, people can, like, be educated the quickest way possible, so that they're not feeling so separated from this, and that it's elite food and, like,
well, like the main thing is we have accessible prices, and you need to just come. We'll make you feel comfortable exactly how to cook it. And there's no pretentiousness. Like, we're not going to try to push you into this $300 steak. Right. When you only want to spend $30, we're not like, there's no used car salesman kind of deal, because that's where it normally goes, right? Because the person trying to sell you, because this company is a chef-raised company first, where I'm not just some salesman trying to make a ton of dough. You know, like, I want people to have an amazing experience. That's what I want to feed people. That's my real deal here. You know, so. You know, of course, we're here to make money, but, you know, it's not, there's, like you said, there's no corporate behind it. It's all, the main company, it's all just me. 0 partners, 0 investors. We have the one partner here in Maui only. Like, so this is a family-ran business, like, full on. Yes, we're big, but it's grassroots. Like, you know, I'm here, you know, it's not just, I didn't send an opening team. I'm here to open this with Nic, you know what I mean? And that's the way, that's everything that's done. It's, my feet are on the ground there doing it, you know, because I'm a control freak.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's actually a purpose versus just, I mean, I feel this way for what I do. It's in a way it's become a purpose. It's not just a job or a career, you know. It's like, okay, it's a good thing on my CV one day or whatever, you know. Like you feel like it is your part of what your meaning is to educate people about this.
Swagyu is me.
I love that.
And that's what, you know, like, I couldn't be doing all this dumb shit on Instagram every day if it wasn't me. Like, I know. Ask anybody that knows me because, you know, I have a videographer, I have the whole deal, right? Like, I'm a one-take guy. I don't rehearse anything because as soon as I do that, I'm like, what? How do you say what? How do you say that word? Wagyu, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, literally, like, it's just it is what it is, and some people hate me for it, which you know. All you haters, you guys actually make my algorithm go even more, so I appreciate all of you.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I always say if you're doing something so different and you're standing out, you'll always have haters. But the truth is, if you have the integrity, I mean,
I just don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Because I
Me
know.
too. I don't fucking care. Like every time somebody asks me, like, do you like with everything that I'm doing now? I'm like, obviously the donuts, and then I do the podcast. I have my nonprofit. People like, and then my craziness. I run around naked all the time, climbing up mountains, and then we're like, maybe that's off-putting to people. It's like, no, I'm empowered, and you know what? Most of my fans are actually women.
Yeah.
And they message me all the time. It's like, that is so cool that you just go out there and be you. And this is what I do. I want to put it out there. I want to put out there like messages like this, like people who are so passionate about what they do and they're sharing it with their community because it's their purpose and they're giving back. And if you take what is so special about you, because I think everybody's got their own genius, right? Sure. So if you're taking what's so special about you and what your skills are and you use that to give back, that is a true gift.
If I just say one thing about Swagyu,
yes, please.
One thing about Swagyu Hawaii is we're veterans of the service industry. We've all had our own experience within the service industry, but we are veterans of the service industry. Mm-hmm. And our service language, so to speak, is Wagyu. That's what we bring to the public. Yeah. That's what we land.
It's experience.
That's where we want to be in the experience. We want to be a part of that experience.
Yeah.
It's not here for calories. We're not. That's not our. That's
not
our
It's not about calories or money. It's
or shock value and all that shit.
No.
There's true value in what you're doing.
Well, and that's the thing. We take the same exact. So in the burger shop, we take the same exact approach that I do when I do my 18-course tasting menu. It's the exact same experience. Me saying my fuckery and how passionate I am about all of it and I go way farther than anyone would on certain things because I love it, and that's really to get the reaction out of you once you taste it, and experience the entire thing. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I totally relate. So so people can find you. Swagyu Chop Shop is the main website, of course.
Yeah, that's the national
And then
site.
here, if you're in Maui, you can follow
Instagram.
Swagyu Hawaii.
At Swagyu Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then
that's the main one.
Swagyu Chop Shop for the
national
one.
We're at 961 Limahana Place in Lahaina. It's at the old Lahaina Town train station, train station.
Oh, cool.
So we took what was once a homeless encampment and we turned it into something that can serve the community.
Yeah.
And land some interesting food out there.
Yeah, we need it. So you're open right now, Wednesday through Saturday.
Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday.
Oh, cool. Okay.
11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Now you're leaving tomorrow. You're going back to California tomorrow. When do you expect to come back?
By the end of the month. Every month, yeah.
Okay, cool. And so that's the plan, is to come visit.
Because we're doing our tasting menus there, so every time those will be every month.
Yeah.
And I'll be here every month for those.
Okay, so we follow Swagyu Hawaii for all the events that's coming on in Hawaii, and you're already scheduled to do some collabs with some local chefs here.
Yeah, they'll be on our dinners.
So once a month or so, at least you're gonna do something.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Any last words? Anything I didn't cover before we cause you gotta get your beauty rest, before you fly out tomorrow. and we see your face everywhere, so you need your beauty rest.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of do the same thing. I was like, fuck, I can't be so haggard looking all the time. Because I have to put myself out there, I work very hard, but I cannot look it.
Yeah.
So we cannot look it. Especially if you're the face of your business.
Exactly.
So anything else I didn't cover, guys? Gentlemen, think this.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
For me, I just really wanted to thank Maui for coming out. So big for us, and we just really felt the love and we felt the support, and we're here for you guys 100%. We're going to be open as much as humanly possible. We're going to have the most fire Wagyu that we can get. And we're just going to keep building. We're just going to keep...
And we have many things to come. This is just the
beginning.
This is the minimal opening. And that's why we did so well, is because we've been doing this for so long. And that's why we opened just with the burger.
Yeah.
Because then we can kill it. Doesn't matter. And then we're going to slowly build. We'll end up having full steakhouse nights and having tasting menu nights.
I cannot wait.
Keep an eye on our social media channels, social media page. We're going to have new things hitting the menu.
Yeah, Instagram is king, so follow that. That's for everything.
Yeah, well, that's how we all kind of got connected, actually.
Exactly.
So, well, thank you so much. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, I will be back next week, Monday, usually 9:01 p.m. But today we had to come a little, do the show a little bit earlier. But follow me next week, 9:01 p.m. Hawaiian time, because we're going to be a little bit, at least 1 minute late. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Thank you, everybody. Aloha, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.